of this section is because sometimes your calculator, it doesn't lie to you, but you don't always get all the information you need. So you got to be careful with this. So, I mean, we can graph this, but it says draw the graph and state the appropriate viewing window. Let's look at the domain, because this is a very good possibility. Oh, my tools are gone. I said that too. I don't know. But anyway, what's true about the domain? What's true about whatever's in here? If they asked you this on the AP exam, you would get 1 point for writing this. What has to be true about 8 minus 2 squared? Okay, it's got to be greater than or equal to 0. Do you remember how to solve a quadratic inequality? We are going to, now, what does it mean to solve? I think we should start there. What does it mean to solve? Oh, there's some things are here. What's it mean to solve? Well, if I say x plus 3 is 5, and I tell you that x is equal to 3, have I solved that correctly? Solve is not the process. You can Google it, look it up, but it means, well, it is a process. It means to find the numbers. Why is that wrong? What do you mean it's not? What's it? By the way, you never use the word it on the exam. What's not right? The equation is not right. What do you mean the equation is not right? Why is it not right? Tell me what I did wrong. It's not true. Right. Find numbers that make the sentence true. If you know what that means, then algebra is so much easier. So I could do trial and error. I could put in 1 plus 3. Nope, that's not 5. I could put in 2, and guess what? It's right. The process of solving is how you solve by subtracting 3 and getting x alone. Well, this is an easy one. Okay? Trevor, right? Where's your handout? And Nick, your handouts. I have extras. If you didn't get one, I got extras. Forever immortalized on the video. Okay. So when you subtract 3 from both sides, you are solving to find numbers that make that true. If I can do it by inspection, fine. Could I put in numbers here by inspection and see what makes it true? Yes, might take me a while. Because how many numbers could I put into this? Infinite. I could graph it. What's true about the graph? What does it look like? When x is 0, what's y? It's 8, isn't it? Just looking at the part under the radical. And you remember what the negative does to my parabola? It flips it. And so I just want the pieces where they're positive. I'm not happy. Oh, maybe we can do this. Oh, you can barely see that. Okay, the question is, where is that? Okay, so I have to develop a process because those might not, these are nice numbers, but they might not be nice numbers. So what I'm going to do is factor that. What comes out of both of those? 2. But I'm left with 4 minus x squared is greater than or equal to 0. And then I'm going to factor it again because I can. What's that going to give you? Well, how do you get 4? 2 and 2 will work, but 1 and 4 also work, but this is a special binomial. Minus x, and somebody said plus x. Now, some of you like to say then 2 minus x is greater than 0 and 2 plus x is greater than 0, and you solve that. Unfortunately, that's only half. That is not the whole problem. You also have to consider 2 minus x is less than 0, 2 plus x is less than 0, and then you have to and you have to or them, and you have to intersect union. And by now, this problem is taking me 20 minutes. It's hard. I'm not going to do that. Okay, Eric, put your phone away, please. Okay, I don't want to see phones out in class. I should maybe have to say that. Okay. I'm just going to test because I know what I'm looking for. I'm trying to solve. And solving is find all the numbers that make the sentence true. So I'm going to create a number line, and I'm going to look for the zeros. Where are the zeros? Where are the zeros? Negative 2 and 2. Abby. I haven't learned your name yet, sorry. Okay. 2 and negative 2. Now, I like to be clever. Sometimes you guys aren't clever. And the brute force method is you just substitute in values and see if it makes it true. The only place this is going to go from positive to negative is the 2 and the negative 2. That's it. If I put in 0 in here and it gets to be positive, then it's always positive in between negative 2 and 2. That's the only thing that's going to happen. So what happens? If I put in 0, is this positive or negative? Positive. What if I put in, let's exaggerate. What if I put 100 in? This factor will be negative and this factor will be positive. So this is going to give me a negative. Got a guess for over here? Negative. They don't always alternate. But I'm a little more clever than that. This is a parabola that's upside down. I knew that. Now, if it's x to the 8th or something, I might not know what it's doing. But this one I do. And so what's my domain? Between what? Negative 2 and 2. Do I get to include them? Yes. Okay. So when I set up my window, it says draw the graph and state the appropriate window. Then I'm going to be between negative 2 and 2. Yes, you could do a graphing calculator, but I got to get the right window when I'm doing it. So let's go ahead and graph it. And I do know that when x is 0, I got the square root of 8. What's the square root of 8? Close to. Forget that it's 2 radical 2, because that doesn't mean anything to you. A little bit less than 3. So it's going to be here. I'm not quite sure. What happens when x is 2? When x is 2, I'm going to be 0, right? So it looks like it's going to connect like this and like that. So you're going to be using your graphing calculators, but you may have to do some algebra to get the right window or just to be able to look at it. Now, this is an Inspire calculator. I like it because it's in color. I have 20-some that you could borrow, but I really am using in my first and fifth hour class. But if you wanted to borrow it once in a while, I could let some of them go. I'm going to start with a new document. I am not going to save what I just did because I don't really care about it. Usually I never save it. And we're going to add a graph. And there's just some incredible things that this can do. You can get this software. I know it's at least 30 days. I don't know if it's 90. Free for trial. And you get the computer software and you get the hand. I don't know if you get the handout. You get the computer software, which is what you want anyway. On the exam, this saves your pages. So if I have to do 4 graphs and I put a different graph on each page, and now I come back and say, oh, wait, I want to see that first graph again because I now know what to do with it. Well, you can go back and you can look at it. Whereas on the 84 calculator, you've cleared it out. Most likely cleared it out, which will take you more time. Plus, this is in color. Okay, so what am I graphing? Down here, I want the square root of, now at the same place as the 83, 84, and it's x squared. No, it wasn't. What was it? Eric, what was it? Okay, so I'm going to delete. It was 8 minus, was it 2x squared? 2x squared. And I press enter, and it graphs. Nice. I probably want a little bit better window, maybe a little more information in that, although there's nothing wrong with this. If I type it in a text box up here, I believe, and just literally drag it down to the axis, it will graph it. This is amazing what this software will do. I can move things. I would like to maybe zoom in on that a little bit. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab my axis, and I can do this too. I could do both. Everything's connected. Or if I want to go to my menu in my graphing page, I can do exactly what you do in the 84. Now, I'm going to do Windows settings. I'm going to enter my own settings. And what would you like? I'd probably like to look at -3. It's very forgiving about the negative signs on this, I believe. And then I'm going to press enter, except I forgot to finish. And I'm not an expert. They've added so much stuff onto this. Oh yeah, it does really cool things. I have to update my software on how I'm going to do that. Now, if I get stuck, I'm stuck. So I'm going to exit, but I want 4. Silly me. And then you have to arrow down, or tab. And let's make that 3. And we knew we had to get up to positive 3 at least. So let's make this, I like negative 3 there, it's fine. Let's make this one 5. And then I'm going to tab, so I hit OK, press enter. And there's a nice picture. What is it a picture of? Is it a parabola? It's an ellipse. How do I know that? Hey, here's the thing I don't like about the software. I'm going to take a picture of it, and now I got to go back here, and I got to go back here, and I got to go there, and then I can drag it. Let's prove it. Let's prove it. I have y equals the square root of, and you haven't done much with this, so I don't expect you to know much. Thank you. Hey, Grant, I don't want the square root there, so what should I do? How about if we square it? So I get y squared equals 8 minus 2x squared. And if I add 2x squared to both sides, and I don't know how much of this conic sections you've had, it's not a parabola, it's an ellipse. Yes? Will an ellipse equation look like a circle equation, except the coefficients of the x squared and y squared terms are different? That's true. And one thing you can do is you can divide by 8. If I divide by 8, it's x squared over 4 plus y squared over 8 equals 1. So on the y-axis, on the x-axis, I set these equal. X squared equals 4, so it's 2. Negative 2. And because this is a function, it's solved for y equals, I'm only going to get the square root of 8, so it's going to look like that. The other half of the ellipse would be the negative part. Y equals the negative square root of 8 minus 2x squared. But unless you do the analysis, you might not know what you're looking for. Okay. No, we're just going to be graphing, but you're going to run into some problems. You are going to run into some problems in the homework if you don't do a little analysis first. Not always. Like this one. Let's go ahead and graph that. I'm going to use let's just not even do any analysis, let's just do it. So they are graphing calculators, problems, and so I'm going to add a page because now I can go back and look at that other one if I want to, and nothing is affected. Well, actually, notice it starts with function 2. Function 1 is still there. If I want to look at it, it's still there. And what are we going to graph? X cubed. What was it, Grant? Read it to me. X cubed. Now this calculator might do this better than your 84. I don't know. Okay? Enter. Okay, I got a little problem, don't I? Is that what that looks like? It's a cubic. What do cubics look like? Remember your exercises? Okay. I don't know how big that gets. Goes through 0. Well, I don't know how big that gets. So how about if we do a little work? Okay? So I'm going to have x cubed minus 49x. I would like to find out what the zeros are here. That would help. How are you going to do that? 49. I just forgot the 9. That's all. Eric distracted me. That's on x. X squared minus 49 equals 0. Now can you tell me where the intercepts are? 7, negative 7, and 0. At the University of Minnesota, if I were to do that and do this and graph, I would not get full credit. Because they want to see this. At the what? University of Minnesota. Full credit like on a test? On homework or anything. Oh, yeah, they grade homework. Or you say x minus 7 equals 0, so x equals 7. They want to see all that work. Sorry. I've heard as an engineer, if you get a 5 on the BC class, or math major, excuse me, then you have to repeat the class, even if you get a 5. It depends on where you are. What are you going to major in? That's why you're here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I got lucky. Now, okay, I'll do a table. I'm not very good at tables on this. I'd like to know how big that gets. I don't like the table feature on this calculator. It's a control T. There we go. Oh, maybe I don't mind it that badly. How small and how big? Oh, look how small it gets. Look at that, negative 132. Okay, we know it's going to get big. So I'm going to have to be between negative 132 and positive 132. Let me do a control T if I see if I can get rid of it. I don't know. That's why I don't like it. Look at that. Learning, they've changed a lot of the stuff. So we're going to go to window. Oh, a lot of this is way different. Now, I never tried, what did I say, 132? So let's make this 200. And they changed some of the features on here. Oh, no, I don't want X max. I want, whoops. I can just go up here. Sorry, you guys can't do that. Okay, Eric? So let's do 8, negative 8 for the min, and let's go positive 8 for the max. And now let's make that negative 200. And let's make that positive 200. We'll let it auto scale. And let's graph it. Beautiful. Zoom fit might work. Doesn't always work, but once you have the domain from negative 7 to 7, Zoom fit will be pretty good. But I give you a case where it doesn't work. And that's a promise. I don't like to make promises too often. Okay, so let me pull this in. That's this guy. Oh, I forgot to do it this way. I wish it were, you know what? I know the TI people. I might have to do something. Tell them about this. Beautiful. Now be careful on the exam. If you have to graph something and you get that first graph that we had and you copy that down as your graph, you won't get any points for it because you have to fix the window. And I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen in the AB, and I've seen it happen probably just the AB. Okay, is that okay? These are the types of problems we're just going to have you practice with. They seem like they're really straightforward, but they're not. So it's getting you used to your graphing calculator. Oh, what about that one? Now, I have not tried that on my Inspire. So we are going to, and Grant is going to help me with this. Right, Grant? We're going to add a page, because now look what I can do. You can too with the computer software. You just go up here and press it like that. Free for 30 days. I don't know how much it costs for a license. I think it's like 70. But if you're going to do that, I would buy the handheld. And if you're going to buy a handheld, I'd get the CAS. And you have to go through schoolsavers.com or Amazon to get that. You can't buy it at the store. I'll show you later why you want the CAS. Okay, so I'm going to add a page. And I want another graph, right? And I want, no, it's F3, so I can bring back any of those other graphs if I want them. But there's a trig button here, and I want the sign of what graph? 50x? Now, I don't know what this is going to do for me. Your 84, I know what it's going to do because I've done it. Is that right, Grant? Okay, let's just graph it as it is. You have to graph, whoa. That's interesting. Ooh, that doesn't look real friendly. So what's the window we want to do, Grant? What's the first one? Okay, window settings, negative 12 to 12. Well, we could try that. Let's do negative 12. Was that on the x's, right? To 12. And then we have to, this is the only thing I don't like. You got to do all this stuff. It's even worse. This is what I mean. You have to do a little bit of work. So I need to take a picture of that? Yeah, why not? It just takes longer. Not by much. It might get better. Okay, negative 10 to 10, we did that one already. Let's not do it again. Grant says let's zoom fit. Okay, let's try that. I don't know. Okay, Grant? Zoom fit, where is that? Oh, A. Oh, I like that picture. It's kind of cool. Because I have better technology. Because I have an Inspire. No, we're not going to zoom in. We're going to fix the window. Okay, what's the next one I want to try? Grant, you're supposed to help me. Was that it? Was it negative 1 to 1? Was the next one? I'm sorry, what? Negative what? Oh, okay, why don't we zoom at trig? What does that do? So menu, window. By the way, you just get better when you do this and you practice it. It's just absolutely incredible what this calculator can do. You can do all your science reports on here. No, I didn't have to change the window. I could have gone to a new page, brought up that function again, and have all of these graphs on my document. Then I just print it out. Boom. Done. I'm not doing it that way, but. Not necessarily. Okay, wait. I'm there. I need this. Okay. Okay, what's the next one? That was trig, so that'll be the 6 to 6. What are we going to do? This isn't working, is it? Do you remember how to find the period? Let's find the period. Okay, here's how I do this. Okay, K is the period. So if Kx is equal to 2 pi, then K is equal to 2 pi over x. Not sure I want to do it that way. I'm going to say that 50K is equal to 2 pi. We are going to estimate. I'm hoping this works. It should. Divide by 50. Can we just estimate that period? It's K is equal to pi over 25. Okay. Pi is about 3 or about 4. 4 out of 25? What's 4 out of 25? 0.16, right? All right? Well, you can probably, let's type in pi over 25, because that's exact then. We got calculators that do that for us. Okay, menu, window. Okay, I want pi. Where is pi? See where pi is on this? Now it's different on my older versions. It's in a different place. There it is. Divided by 25. Uh-oh, what did I forget? I forgot the negative sign. I can just arrow over and pick it up. Whoops. And I want pi over 25 here. Do you guys do it on your calculator here? What's it look like? Tab. Well, what you've done is you're graphing it in the window of just the period. And that's what it looks like. It's cool. But the thing is, the calculator doesn't lie. It's just oscillating so fast, it doesn't know what to do. And that's why you get all those pretty pictures. So you've got to be careful with your calculator. Where'd that go? It goes through 50 times, right. That's right. Okay, guys, I don't think you're going to be able to sit together. There's the answer. Yeah, I'm going to give you questions like this. You're going to have to figure out what the window would be without a calculator. The homework quiz does not include the sections, just 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. Maybe the next one. Nope. There's a lot harder things. Okay. Now, this was for a writing assignment, you guys. There's a writing assignment, I think, on your handout. We're going to do it a little differently this year on your assignment sheet. We are going to open up a discussion on that. And I believe if you have, I'm trying to find my assignment sheet. Anyway, I can't. Maybe I have an assignment sheet. I believe there's a writing assignment on there. What happens if you try x cubed plus cx? I don't want to waste your time unless you want me to, but I can put a slider in there. It's a slider on this calculator. On your 84s, you would type in y1 is equal to x cubed plus 1x. y2 is equal to x cubed plus 2x. y3, that's one way to do it. There's also a transform app that will do it, and then don't forget the negatives and maybe even fractions to investigate what happens to the shape. Is that all I have left here? And then questions. Okay, let's do this one first. I have done sliders. I just haven't done them for a while, and I might mess up. But let's graph this one, and this is cool to see what this will do as well. We're going to graph this graphically. So y equals x. We know what that looks like. Do I have any lines here? I do. Good. There's y equals x, right? Where are my pens? There it is. And the cosine curve, assuming this is 1, looks something like this, etc. Okay. Let's graph that. I can't do it algebraically. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to add another page because maybe I want to go back and look at these again. Or maybe I want to print them out for my science teacher. You also can insert notes. You can type on your computer. You can type your whole paper in the notes page. The new software also does chemistry. Does the superscript and subscripted variables. And I do have a TNS file with Angry Birds on it. You can do read books on this calculator. Okay, so I'm going to add, not yet. Now, it's coming on an iPad. So imagine what I'm doing, but on an iPad. That would be really nice, wouldn't it? If you saw what the geometry did, it's really cool. Okay, what am I graphing? Cosine of x. I can just do this. You can't. You can't even you can on the computer, kind of. Okay, I want to do that one. There's cosine. And then I'm going to tab down and add another one, x. Well, that's kind of nice. Hey, you guys, you should be doing them with me on your calculator. I want to see where they intersect. Now, if you get one of these Inspires, you do have to change your settings so that you're going to get 3 decimal places. They just reinstalled my software, so most likely I don't have that. So we're going to go under Menu. You're not going to trace. You're going to analyze the graph. There's more than one way to do it, but this is a nice. Pardon? I do. It's easier, actually, on the computer for me. Analyze the graph. I think I know what I'm doing. Intersection. I'm going to go between. That's good, right there. No, lower bound. There. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm better off on the computer on this one. I don't know why it doesn't want to work for me. I had problems with it last year. It's really cool. Okay, so I'm going to go under Menu, Analyze Graph, Intersection, click, click. Done. Okay, Eric, do you know how to do that? Whoops, I didn't mean to grab that. Do I have an undo button? I do believe I do. Undo. There. I'm trying to grab this little point here. Oh, I don't want to multi-select. For some reason, it's not letting me. Oh, there it is. There it is. So it's 0.3739. Remember, 3 decimal places. Killed me last year. I had to mark so many papers wrong because they went to 2. Always 3. Well, if you do that on your free response, every single problem for 6 problems, that's 6 points out of 54. It's enough to drop. You can do it right there to a 4. We don't do it twice. So let's say in a problem number 5, there are 3 places where you had to round. Well, you didn't round in any of them. That's okay. It's only 1 penalty. And so then we can take a picture of that. And the rest of the time is to work. I believe that was my, yep. I want to try and put a slider in, unless you want me to do homework problems. Okay, homework problems. The slider is pretty cool, though. Homework 1.3. I'll see if I can get answers and get them up there tonight. Okay? Whoops, I don't have my book. But there are books. Hey, guys, what do you have questions on? Can you hand me a book, please? You can do it. Okay. Which ones do you have questions on? Oh, you should probably have a question on one of the last ones. The heaviside function or whatever it's called. Okay, Eric, I want you to sit over there, please. 51 is an important question to be able to do. 57 is an interesting question. Was assigned at the University of Minnesota. That's the wrong book. I taught over there for 2 years, and that was a problem that was assigned. And yes, I graded homework. So where's your homework? Do you have questions? Did you do 57? Or did you run out of time? Which one? Make sure you're in radian mode. Okay. I didn't think it was, I mean, 31, is it 31? No, 35 was long. Which part would you like to do on 35? Oh, we did that. I did that yesterday. No, we did that. They didn't find my mistake on one of them. Now, I don't care about the simplifying, but sometimes you do have to worry about it. But if you want to check your answers in the back, you do have to simplify. Get your homework out. Ask me questions. Grant, why do you have nothing written down on your paper today? F of x. That's probably the one I got wrong. And 35, that is part C. Well, I'm assuming that Mr. Stewart was right. You guys don't even know who Jimmy Stewart, the actor, is. You do? But this is not the actor. One of the professors I worked for at the University of Minnesota worked for James Stewart, wrote the extra materials and stuff. I'm good friends with him. So I want f of x. Okay, you ready? So I want f of x. Okay, you guys put the paper away, and Eric, I ask you to move, please. Since you lost the spot, but you can move back there. Okay, I'm going to clone that. Where's my infinite cloner? Down here someplace. This is 35. I don't match the back of the book. I'm close, but you're going to put that right in there for this x, and you're going to put that right in there for that x. Does that make sense? So you're going to get f of f of x equals, in place of x plus 1 over x plus, and it's 1 over this. You cannot just reciprocal each term. That's part of the problem. But that's still not why I have it wrong. So, now, how do I deal with these complex fractions to make my life easy? Only if I use a CAS. I can use the CAS, but it's a computer algebraic system. Remember, I multiply by the denominator. We can check it with that. So that I'm left with x plus 1 over x plus, that's x, and this is what? X squared plus 1. Did I do that right? Now, you need common denominators. And later on this year, I'm going to give you fractions, and you are going to decompose them. These are the fractions. Once I get the whole thing done, I'm asking you to go backwards. But it'll be easy. Well, it'll be somewhat easy. It won't be as hard as this one would be. So what's the least common denominator? You multiply all the denominators together. 1 times x squared plus 1. Okay, so I'm going to multiply the first fraction by the whole denominator because I need all of it. I'm not clearing fractions. Unfortunately, I can't clear fractions. Now, by the way, I'm okay with the original answer there. It's fine. We got to find our domain. That's the only problem. Then I'm going to do this one times, I need an x. I got an x. I need x squared plus 1, so they all look the same. At least I'll find my mistake. And this one needs an x. Okay, Eric, 3 times. Move someplace else. Okay, and it's going to be permanent. Oops. Okay. Well, you're going to have to disrupt somebody. Multiply this out. I get x squared times x squared plus 1. Multiply this out. X squared plus 1. Multiply this out. All over. We didn't clear them out. We're stuck with them. X squared plus 1. And I believe they have you, no, they don't factor that. I mean, they don't multiply it out. I don't know if they do. Somebody can look in the back of the book and see. This is x to the 4th plus x squared plus x squared plus 1. There's my mistake. I had a 2 there. I must have missed an x squared someplace. X squared plus 1. And this is x to the 4th plus 2x squared. Oh, not 2. How many x squareds? 3. 3x squared plus 1. And that should match the back of the book. To do the domain, I can look right here and say x can't be 0, but I need to see if there's anything else. Then I got to go back up here to the original. Well, the problem is I have to look at this. X can't be 0 here, x can't be 0 there, but this whole green fraction, x plus 1 over x, can't be 0. Now, what's wrong with solving that by just doing by inspection? What if x is negative 1? X equal to negative 1 gives me a negative 1 there, plus a negative 1. Nope, that didn't do it. X equals 1. Nope, I'm fine. Just x can't be 0. If you'd had an x squared there, then you would have had the negative 1. Other ones? Oh, would you like to see what the CAS calculator will do with this? Should we do the whole inverse? The whole... Let's see what I can do with this. Now, I'm not all that good at this, but I'm going to add a page. Now, when I add my page, I want a calculator page. And I am going to try to do this. F, let's make it 6. I didn't get that many ones. Of x equals x, where's x? Plus 1 divided by x. And it should go into pretty print for me. Oops. It's supposed to be 1. So all I do is go back up here, copy it again, enter, and I don't know how you know why I there, but I did. Enter. Okay. It's not going to work. This is the part I don't quite get, but that's okay. Now, I want to put f6 of x back into f6 of x, so I'm going to try it. Not sure it's going to work. When I did this, I stored it, got to be bold, so then I want f6 of x. Oops, too many parentheses. Oh, I know what my problem is. Sorry. I'm not in the cast because my cast didn't work today. I don't know. It's hung up. I have to put in for a ticket. No, it's whatever they did to install it was wrong. So you could do it on a CAS. It would give me that answer. I just forgot I didn't have a CAS. So other questions on homework? Didn't work yesterday either. It just needs to be reinstalled. They messed up. More questions on homework. How about 57? Yes. I think this is named after an electrician. Well, if you did your homework, you know. Not about golf. Okay, you guys, let's look at this function. Anybody want to become an electrical engineer? Anybody interested in electricity at all? No physicists in here? If you become an electrician, you make a lot of money. I should go back to school and become that. Okay, you guys, what is this function doing? Oh, it's doing something. Should we graph it? This is how they do the physics. If t is less than 0, it's 0. If it's greater than 0, it's 1. You know what? Well, it's on the axis. I just can't draw it very well. Okay. Shh. It's just an on-off button. That's how your computers work. It's either on or it's off. It's binary. This is the same thing. When you walk in the room, you turn the switch. It's either on or it's off. That's all this function does, is turns on something or it turns it off. So then, that's the original function. It then says, sketch the graph, did that. Sketch the graph of the voltage in the circuit for the time t equals 0 and 120 volts are applied. This is just on, off. What would my voltage function look like? What do you think? It's 0, right? If t is less than 0. That's easy. What's the voltage if it's on? 120. This function just makes it on or off. Okay, well, is it continuous? Sam? Is it continuous? Between 0 and, no, it's on or off. The lights, unless you get a dimmer, don't come up slowly. They're on or they're off. Not at 1, not at 0. So this, I'm going to exaggerate this, not to scale. It's going to look like this, where that's 120, and then that's at 0. Excuse me, same graph. What's the next part? C, sketch the voltage graph in a circuit. The switch is turned on at 5 and 240 volts. Now your function's going to look a little different. It's going to turn on at 5, not at 0. New color. And we had this on the exam. The snow problem. We did the snow problem last year. You didn't have to take it as an exam. Okay, you guys? Where is it turning on or off, Grant? You guys aren't going to sit together. No, it's turning off at when? Yeah. I don't care. You can make it open if you want. It's a split second. You're right. This is just a model. Just a model. Okay. When does this go on? No. You didn't read the question. It says, sketch the graph if the voltage is turned on at t equals 5. So this is t less than 5. T greater than 5. Don't even put anything in there because I don't know what to do with that. Then what's this going to look like? The voltage is 240, but is it 240 T? But it's not. If you do this, does that work? No, I mean, it's just 240. Yeah, I'm thinking with that. Okay, I think that's all there is. So all it's doing. At 5, it turns on. That's it. That's what this function does. It's an on-off function. 57, that's what that is. 63 is the last one. I don't know if you have a question on it or if we have time. We do have a couple minutes. How did you do 63, Grant? Didn't. No, that's not how you do 63. 63. I don't know. But you guys are not paying any attention. Yeah, it's true. Okay. It says on 63, G is even. What's it say about F? And H is equal to F. Oh, is H always an even function? Well, what can happen? You have three cases, right? A, F is even. What does that mean? That F of minus X is F of X. Okay, so if you want to know if H is even, you would have to look at H of minus X. The question is this: is H of X minus X equal to H of X? Now, if it's not always even, all you have to do is find one case where it's not. I'm going to do it algebraically. So what is this? This is H is equal to F of G of X. So what do you have to do? Right here. Put in what? Remember that from last year? H of minus X is equal to F of G of minus X. I have to substitute in minus X and see if this happens. That's how you're supposed to do this. Okay, that's why it's important to use your time in class. Now, G is even, so what's true about G of minus X? It's G of X. So this is equal to F of G of X. F is even, but no big deal because there's no negatives. So that's equal to H of X. Question? That's fine. I'm going to leave it to you because it is time to go. What if F is odd? What's the last choice? Neither. Can you make a decision? You know, I don't know because I haven't done the problem for a while. So I don't know the answer. I think the answer is no. Pardon? All the lunches, I think. Yeah. If you want to wait a second.